We already discussed the three main sins that cause curses and therefore cause demonic influence in the lives of people. We haven't discussed yet the question of ancestral curses, and so there's a need to explain this. We go to Exodus chapter 20, where we find the 10 commandments, and they start like this. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above or on the earth beneath or in the waters below. Thou shalt not bow down to them or worship them. For I, the Lord your God, I am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sins of the parents to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. The 10 commandments and the statement of punishing up to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me. First of all, we have to realize that it's not every sin that has an effect on 4 generations, but specifically the sins towards God directly by idolatry. Now, we have to explain why things work like that. When I commit a sin and I receive a curse, that curse comes on me and my domain. I'll explain that later, but it comes to me and the things I have authority over. Meaning, if I'm a king, like the kings of Israel, I commit one of those sins, the consequences will not only be felt by me, but by the whole nation. If I am a family father, I have children, I have animals, and I commit one of those 3 sins, idolatry, adultery, or murder, the effect will be on me, my family, and my livestock. So it will be on me, my family, my possessions. Because that's my domain. I have authority over that family, so they will be affected. If I'm a grandfather, so I have children, grandchildren, and I commit one of those sins, I'm the grandfather of a big family. The curse comes on my domain, including my children and my grandchildren. Now suppose I get very old and I even have great-grandchildren. So now I'm the patriarch of the family. So if I commit one of the 3 grave sins, it means that the effect thereof will be felt by the whole tribe, by my tribe. I'm the patriarch of them, so it will also affect the lives of my great-grandchildren. But as I will never be that old that I will see a 5th generation, meaning that the 5th generation will never belong to my domain and cannot be hit by the curse that I have brought over the family. So that's why normally the maximum extent of a curse is 4 generations. There are plenty of examples about this. And so the clearest examples is the behavior of the kings of Judah and Israel. When they start serving idols, the whole nation was attacked by foreigners, by the Moabites, the Midianites, the Ammonites. So they attack and destroy the country because the king started with idolatry. I have a story of a man who came to our ministry suffering from a heavy depression. He wanted to give up in life. He had the suicidal thoughts. And so I asked him, when did that start? And he said, well, around half a year ago. I said, what happened half a year ago? He says, well, I had a company with 25 employees. And it was a good company. It worked very well. I had good relationship with my workers, with my employees, and especially with my secretary. She was a married woman, but she was very sensitive and very attentive. You know, when there was stress of the workplace and I came home, my wife didn't never show any interest in my work. She was just concerned about the children. And so she burdened me with all her worries concerning the children, concerning the family, and never showed any interest in what I did at my workplace and where I earned the money for a living. But my secretary was quite different. When I came, you know, in the morning at the workplace, he looked at me and he says, I see you have a headache. Here you have something to drink. Here you have an aspirin. Take that first. You'll feel a bit better. She would now and then tell me, it's better you take a day off. You're not feeling well. And so she would discuss with me the problems at the workplace, and she would always have a very sensitive and gentle heart. And so I started appreciating her. And at some point, appreciation from both sides went a bit further, and it ended in a sexual affair. On her side, my side, it was adultery. She was married, I was married. And after this happened, so the adulterous affair started, suddenly the company bankrupted. 25 employees lost their job. My wife found out about the divorce, about the affair, and divorced me. My children didn't want to see me anymore, and I ended up in a heavy depression, and I can't cope with life anymore. For me, this was a very good illustration of how a curse works. So there is adultery, and so what happens? The whole domain of this man, meaning his company with 25 employees and his family, was hit, and he himself, of course, was hit. The 25 employees, or 24 without the secretary, were not guilty of anything. They didn't do anything wrong. But their lives were also heavily affected by the sin of their boss. So that's how it works. When Adam and Eve sinned, the whole earth was cursed. When a king sins, his family is cursed, but also the whole country is cursed. And so I will give you an example about how in the Old Testament, the whole nation was affected by a curse.